Om. Namaste. Welcome everyone to Satsang today. And very happy to see still many new faces coming. And welcome. We've had to change to this space today because the wind was his still so much stirring up, and there's a lot of sand there. It wouldn't be so pleasant in the top. So hope you're nicely warmed up. We have some good breeze. It's good. I'd also like to welcome all the friends who are looking in from different parts of the world today. They're joining us through broadcasting, and just welcome to you all. And so, amongst the many people who are new for the first time, you are at all familiar with Satsang? Anyone here? Some of you I've seen for the first time. You?
First time.
Yes. You've watched a little bit of Satsangs. You understand a little bit about. Okay. For those who have no idea about it, a very simple thing. We are of all the subjects that we can discuss as human beings, I hold this subject to be the most important. And we're not here merely to discuss it also, but to discover. And that is what is our true nature. I'm not here as a teacher to teach anything at all. It is not my primary aim to teach anything, but more to point out something that for most of us goes largely unrecognized in ourselves. We grow up thinking we are the person we have been conditioned to believe we are, that we are this body, and the conditioning that entered this body, our mindset, belief systems, all of these things. And it seems to be enough, because it is possible to go through life with the ideas we picked up as children, and to have a life that seems meaningful enough at some level. But freedom, what I am calling freedom, is really to know and to discover your true being, what it is that you are, not what we believe we are, but what actually it is that we are. And what would even be the purpose of such a search? Why bother? Because you don't need it to find a job. You don't need to really know who you are to get married, to have children, to travel around the world. Any of these things, you don't need it, it seems. We can do all these things without knowing who we truly are. So what is the incentive? What would be the motivation for going further when no one in life requires it of you to go more deeply than our conditioning has prepared us for? Well, to really know life, to know yourself. At the seat of all human experience lies also desire and fear, functions very powerfully inside us. Desire for what we imagine we don't have, and fear that what we do have will one day be lost. It creates a kind of anxiety in the human psyche and consciousness. And in some ways it is good, because without the struggle that comes to us when we don't know the truth, without that struggle, the motivation or the incentive to find what is permanent in existence would not arise for us. So in totality, whether we feel we are lost or that we are found, everything is somehow in service to your discovering the truth of who you are, what you are. Today, A meeting like this is right at the heart of this search, of this seeking, and not just seeking, but finding also. And because what you are searching for already is what you truly are, you're not being asked to be creative about it. Imagination is not needed. Imagination is needed for fantasies. Yourself is not a fantasy. Some people say, what stands in the way of real discovery, self-discovery? What stands in the way? I would say the belief in our conditioning and our identity as merely a person, and that even your strongest belief in yourself as a person, you cannot sustain. It will always change. It is always changing. We only have to stop and reflect a little bit over your life to see that at varying stages of life, you felt very differently about who you are and what you want in life. And this is a process of change. Always something is changing. Is there any value in finding or discovering something that does not change? And for what purposes, what value is it? Are we somehow determined or destined to fall in love with only that which is changeful? Must we always be pursuing only that which is changeful? Have you found anything within your own self which is unchanging? Which is the same throughout every situation, every circumstances remain always the same. And yet it is not stagnant, not boring, not dull. So this is what the gathering like this today is for. And there are people from all over the world who have a deep longing to come home to their heart's truth. So I come today, sit with you, we're sitting together to look deeply into this, not merely for intellectual satisfaction. So I don't know with what intention you have come here today. If it's mere curiosity, it really doesn't matter, because if you're open, this is the most important thing. If you're open, you may surprise yourself. So, with this, welcome everybody today. Let's see how this hour or so, or whatever it is, unfolds. And you are invited to put your questions. I don't really too much, I'm interested in merely domestic questions. But maybe a question that really matters to you. If there's a question inside your heart that really matters to you, it will matter to me also. This you can bring forward. So please come. You can come first for me. Very good.
Dear Mooji,
Hi.
I don't really have a question.
Mm.
I was here last summer on the silent retreat.
Yes.
And it was quite new for me. It was all beautiful, but what was most beautiful was the last day.
Mm-hmm.
Half an hour before we should leave, because then we could take a photo together with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if I would, because I was not used to this thing with gurus. But then a force made me go up, and I hugged you, or you hugged me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like this feeling that my heart opened, and it was a feeling that I had waited for this for lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
It was like this feeling of being in a Sound of Music movie.
Really? What part was I playing?
You were
the guitar.
Yeah. You were the wide open landscape.
Ah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh. Mm. And now I come back, and I have been to the Sunday Satsangs.
Mm.
But I really didn't have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited in a way for the urge to come up to have a question, but I didn't. And now I just felt that I have to go up still to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If I would feel that it is a great place to run out of questions. You have no questions left in you. You see? It's one of two things: that you have exhausted all your questions. Your mind just cannot lift a question anymore on any subject. I mean, okay, superficially about some things, but deeply, no. There are some beings who have exhausted their questioning. They may not have asked many questions, but somehow they find themselves at a place that I don't really have any questions left. That's one type. Another type is maybe someone who dare not ask, or who is not sufficiently in touch with their feelings like this, or there's very little pulse in terms of any real feeling is there. So they have no opinions, they don't have any sort of questions, they don't have any doubt, they don't, very unresponsive, perhaps, like that. And yet maybe there's yet questions to happen in them, but maybe they have not come to that place where it is they are sufficiently aroused in such a way that questions begin to leap out of them. You see? Do you know which one you are?
I had different phases in my life.
Yes.
When the questions were really very, very strong.
Yes.
And I'm not there now. It's like life is happening.
Yes.
Yeah. So now back in Norway, I don't have a. I was writing. I was into the swords. I could write and write, but now I don't are connected in that way. I don't have energy there.
Yes.
I don't have a work that really I have to go to. And we also, me and my husband, we are losing our apartment. So and he's losing his job. So we the only thing we want to do is to come here, to move here, to stay close to you, because it's like I've been to this path to the land of the heart for 20 years, and now my children are grown up, and it's like all the doors are opening now.
Yes.
To go fully into it. And it's been more and more hard to be in the so-called normal world. It's very hard now. It's very hard. It's like I started to cry because the woman in the shop never smiles. It's like these things. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's really like this coldness. So both me and my husband now wants to go fully for the truth, and for the truth and love and the new world in a way.
Very good. Very good. When you say you want to do it, you want to, means want doesn't sound immediate. Choose to, it seems immediate. I say, I choose this thing, but I want to has a kind of some future sort of touch about it. No, like I would like to. Does it?
No, I'm on my way.
Yes.
Yeah, I moved to the Algarve coast now. It happened that I could rent an apartment.
Keep it there, yeah.
I could rent an apartment for 3-4 months.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
I couldn't plan much.
Yes.
I came there and I felt after 2 days I have to come here. Yeah. So I'm coming back and forth. My husband is coming. So actually things we don't have to plan. I feel it's just happening.
Unfolding like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything missing today? Because tomorrow we don't know, but tomorrow. We don't know anything about tomorrow. We have intention to be in a certain state, a certain place, and we've bought the ticket, we've planned the place, and so on. But these are things that are not really in our hands. What's in your hand? What is in your hand? You're here now, today. Today's a good day, isn't it? On the day that the Buddha awakened to the truth, it was a day just like today. A moment just like now, isn't it? What would another moment bring that is not here now? Of course, events will change. Maybe something will unfold tomorrow or next week, cannot unfold today. But is the truth an unfolding? Is the truth an unfolding as well? Will it just sort of, yes, it's kind of on the way to, or is it out of that? If it's unfolding, it means it's not perfect today. Or is it that it's perfect today, but you will only recognize it perfectly another day? Because it has to be perfect. What is truthful must be always truthful. It cannot be more truthful on Wednesday and on Thursday. It's not so truthful. That means that it is always the same, always truth. Which means that, well, if it's always there, then I'll get around to it. Is it going to be like that? Or is it more that it is already here? What is already here. Why wait for tomorrow for it, if it can be found today? It's good to ask these questions also, because through these kind of questionings, sometimes you discover little things, little what I would call compromises that we are so habituated to a certain kind of compromising, what it means. That, it's not convenient. Sometimes the truth is really not convenient. Not convenient today. Today I have some other things to do. One friend was like this. She came to Satsang, and after, when we were in the United States, and then somehow so much came up. It was such a strong time for her. And she told me later, when I went back home, I told my husband, I think I'm going to have a breakdown. Just like, like a meltdown. I'm going to have a meltdown. And he said, well, when are you thinking of having one? Because it's not convenient right now. We have to look at the calendar, and we'll find out when it's convenient, because, the children have got to be in this place and so on. You cannot break down today. Easy? It's not proper, not convenient. Let's try and pick another time, 2 months' time, third week in October maybe. Can we live like that? Can you command life like that? So I say like this because I feel that there's some mechanism at play within our lives on a daily basis, where we're constantly avoiding the thing which is the most true. Maybe we are not really thinking about it like that, but in subtle things, we are living a life of denial, waiting to be brave, waiting for the right moment. And there is no right moment. To be timeless. There's that within us which is timeless. Almost everything else is time-bound. The number of years you have to live, or months or weeks, that is time-bound. The amount of time you have left to work, have children, to do these things, to do that sort of thing. Anything that comes at the end of intention is time-bound. What is that which is not bound by time? If you could find out today that your existence is eternal, would you want to wait for tomorrow to find it out? To really know this in your heart, not just to hear about it or to read about it in a book, but to really recognize from a place within your own self while you're sitting here today, that which is not touched by conditioning, by gender, by the movement of planets. Would you be up for it? One man, I will tell you shortly what happened. He he planned to come to India with his girlfriend. They wanted to travel around India, but part of their journey plans was to come and spend some time with me in Tiruvannamalai. But he said, I have some things to do first. You go. You go on retreat with Mooji. I will meet you up in a few weeks. We'll spend a couple of weeks with Mooji, then we go maybe to Goa, and then we move about like that. They had the year planned out, took time off work. So she came to Satsang. And in the retreat, something opened up inside her heart. And a big change came over her. She had a clear recognition, a realization of the truth she is. And this had a tremendous impact on her life. Then he shows up. And then he meets her. And he says, this is not my girlfriend. Where's my girlfriend? Now, it's beginning to sound like a horror story, isn't it? The most beautiful thing. Says, but what has happened? You have become a kind of Buddha. Then all my plans have changed. Somehow Goa wasn't on the go anymore. What's going to happen now? This is an agenda you cannot make up. You have to live in the moment, to find in the moment. What are we going to do tomorrow? Well, I really don't know. Tomorrow will show. What? How can we live like this? So quickly now, his whole life has to adjust to this new situation. No? And he came to me and he says, look, my life has changed big time because I came to pick up my girlfriend to come and sit with you, have a few satsangs, and then go off and spend a year together traveling around India. And I've come here and she's not the person I said goodbye to at the airport. So I see something beautiful has happened to her and I want it to happen to me. Can you do it? So I said to him, like, well, it doesn't really work like that, I mean, like, I think you are feeling very much a bit disturbed and really confused because you feel you're losing her. And but it's a good idea because what happened is that you feel you're losing her, and he actually said, I don't want her to change and become the whole girlfriend. It's just I want to lift up and join her. I said, yeah, it doesn't really work like that. I know how the mind is working like this, but it doesn't really work like that. He says, yeah, but please don't give up. Try me. I'm really up for it. So he stayed and he tried and tried and tried, and he did come to some place of an awakening. But somehow it still would not go, that desire to hold on to a certain idea of how things could be, that had sort of changed. And how will life unfold from here? Are you prepared to take that risk, you see? Like this. Who knows? Because he said, I want to meet up and I want us to both leap into nirvana together. I said, you leap first by yourself. Don't try to do it like as a couple. If it's meant to happen like this, happen like that. Some people have come to satsang, they've discovered something very profound, they've gone home, they brought their family, the whole family have come into satsang and have discovered a great joy in themselves. But I have no recipe. Who knows how things go? If you are able to discover the truth today, fully in your heart, or will you prefer to wait until your husband comes? At least attitude must be right. And what stands in the way? What would stand in the way? for anybody, in fact. Hmm? Could it really be like I'm speaking? I'm not a salesman for truth. I'm not a salesman for truth. If there is something inside you beating, a drum calling you, then something is there to answer that call also in you. But mhm. Okay, we will see what comes up. So, thank you. Okay. Mm. 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 Ah, very good. Mm. Go ahead. Fine.
Um, when I turn my attention
Mm.
to this place within,
Mm.
there's joy and
Mm.
expansion, and it's a very safe place to stay.
Mm.
I enjoy it very much,
Mm.
but right on the edge of this
Mm.
is something too big or too frightened
Mm.
for me. I mean, like something something very powerful, and I don't know if it's good or bad.
What?
Yes.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
It's like the ocean. It is.
Ah.
I mean, the ocean doesn't care about if something is drowning or swimming, or it's just the ocean. And this,
It gives birth to this entire universe, puts the stars in place, the sun in place, just the right place from the earth that if it moved another 10 miles we would scorch to death. It puts color in the flowers. It brings the different creatures to the different places they need to be. It finds a way for them to enjoy their existence. It makes a beautiful earth. It puts inside each form the capacity to know itself in that form. It brings this beautiful quality we call love that helps us to recognize its fragrance and to be free of fear. It puts also the opposites, a world of opposites, of diversity and interrelated opposites. Because without that, without duality, there could be no experience. And without experience, you could not have the knowledge of truth. So all this dynamic play it creates. Nothing exists apart from it, or can have life apart from it. And it is there in this body. It also portrays itself as the human nature, the human person, personality. It arises as I, the sense I am, inside each body. And this feeling I am means I exist, I am. It is not personal, it's not a person.
that's what.
Yes.
I mean, that's where I get a little frightened because
Yes.
I'm afraid that the person
Yeah.
will take it as, will use it, will misuse it, or
The person meaning what?
I
What is
mean,
the person? The mind.
the mind, the personality,
Yeah.
the
Are you the mind?
no.
But you're not sure, really. You're not sure. You're a little bit half sure. That's the
Yeah.
only way fear can come. Fear will come in. We're a little bit half sure. I'm not the mind, but I'm not totally sure. Some of it is me. I can be without the mind, but the mind cannot be without me. There's no such thing as anybody seeing a mind floating around someplace. So there is no such thing as mind as an independent of you.
No.
You are the weakness of the mind. Mind is not the weakness of you.
No.
That's okay.
Still, this fear can. Still, this fear.
The
of
fear
you-
is there because your nature
Over.
somehow is combined with identifying with the mind and conditioning and with the
Yeah.
body.
and
like
and
this.
fear of fear of misuse, fear
Of misuse.
fear of taking advantage
Of what?
of this power that
What can take advantage of this power? What can abuse this power? You're joking.
yeah I know
Yeah.
yes joking and still
What will do what you're speaking is that something inside me, a part of my power, which I call my mind, is a deceitful energy,
yes
deceiving energy, so to speak. But it can only deceive because somehow there is some interest in it also. There's a relationship
yeah
that the sense I am has with the mind, like that. And it cannot control the projection.
no
And so sometimes the projection seems to have a life of its own. We can clear it up today.
yes please
You want to?
yes I do
Okay. When you say I, I really need to be clear, not just by your words, but by the presence, you see. I is presence. I is presence, you see. It's not person. Person is some other kind of psychological kind of growth or modification upon the pure sense I am. The I am is not the person, it's not a man or a woman, it has no religion.
no
It's pure consciousness, actually. But that pure consciousness operating in a body, which it needs in order to have the taste of experiencing, identification arises with the body, and the consciousness believes I am the body. When it believes I am the body, it comes into time, because the body is a time body, you see. Then when it comes into time, I'm a time body, then some sense of vulnerability also comes, because the body is vulnerable. It's the vulnerable aspect of yourself, the time-bound aspect of yourself, meaning that one day it will not be here. The body will not be here. One day your thoughts, in their uniqueness, your individuality, they will not be here. One day all of this will go, but there's something that won't go. There's something that will remain, but it may remain still unclear. And if it is unclear, it has to work out its own unclarity. And the only way it can do that is inside a form. It will take another form like that. Like it took this form, because the last form it burnt out. It didn't find the truth in the last form. Now it took this form. Again, looking for the truth. Will it find the truth in this form? It itself is beyond the form. But while it has the belief I am the form, it is going to suffer. It will have momentary space of peace and joy, but it cannot capture them. It cannot sustain it. Everything is coming and going. Your thoughts coming and going. Your years coming and going. Age coming and going. Family life coming and going. Achievements coming and going. Life coming and going. Something watches the comings and goings of all things. Is this coming and going also? What is the age of that which watches your years passing? What is the age of the observer of time? You say, when I put my attention here, then all this beauty is there. Why do you put your attention elsewhere? Why? Because you can't help it. You can't help it. You turn your attention inside. All the attention is used to going outside. The mind, the psychological mind, is shopping through the senses, searching for something to eat, to have some kind of experiences like that. And for a long time, we eyes only for outside. Now your eyes are turned around, they're looking inside. Like I say, some are pioneers for the outer. The sages, they are the pioneers of the inner. Some goes to the moon and to other planets and deep in the bottom of the oceans. But some goes inside to an ocean, another ocean, inside. What journey are you on? And what will you find? There are worlds outside and there are worlds inside. But there's something beyond inside and outside. Where is the location of that? These are questions that can be answered today. Not textbook answers. But it seems some things get in the way of this discovery. Fear. So you mentioned also fear, you see. When you come to the edge, at the cutting edge, at the periphery of your boundary of conditioning, there's a sense of fear. You don't know what is beyond. Well, actually, you don't know what's beyond anyway. Anything. You see? Only your conditioning tell you tomorrow is going to be this. And okay, good. Yeah? But you have come to the edge of something. Now you don't know what is there. What is beyond this thing. And actually, this beyond is not beyond that way. It is beyond this way. What is beyond all your conditioning, all that you have learned and called your own, what you have studied and learned in this world. There is something beyond. Come beyond. Then you say, I'm afraid. It is so vast. It's going to swallow little me up.
I want to be swallowed.
By what? By what are you going to be swallowed?
Or maybe I'm swallowing.
No. By what are you going to be swallowed?
By this vastness.
Fear comes because the mind puts a kind of image to the vastness and an image to yourself. So you look like a little mouse in front of a lion.
Exactly.
Very little choice.
Like this.
But that's just a self-image. That's just an image you have of yourself also. You paint a picture of yourself in a very vulnerable thing in front of the Almighty Power, you see. But this is only an image also. What watches this image, both of the little self and the big self? What is the form of that one?
Yeah.
Here it's very easy, we are confused because it's blurred. Something feels blurred. I don't really know where is my actual position in this. Who am I actually here? You know, am I the little thing that's going to get swallowed up, or is the very swallowing up of the little thing is going to be watched by the same thing that's watching now? Actually, I feel for you to say, you know what, if I could do this like this, and everything you think you know and you've studied, I'm going to leave it all aside. Put everything aside. I put my supernatural hoover. Suck everything out from you. Okay? Now you are totally empty. Like that. Don't you have nothing that is you talk about my experience, my memories. I've done this before, my achievements, what I want, what I've done in my life, everything. Throw it out for a moment. Because it's not really serving, it's just getting in the way. Suppose we could do this. Would you be up for that?
Yes.
Okay. You have to cooperate also. You cannot be, let me see if he can do it. No, you have to. It has happened before, like this. Someone says, I am here. Oh, okay. You are no, I don't see you. The one you're talking about, I don't see. Okay? Only you see. The one you're talking about, I don't see this one. It's only in your mind, a figment of your own mind. I even try to see, and I try to get you to see. Really, can you see this one you're talking about? Oh, I feel this little mouth. Is it real? Can you present it? Can you show this little person, this little thing, quivering in front of the Almighty? You say it is you. Can you show it? Hmm? You're hiding behind something. And I want to remove this something. What are you hiding behind? Like something kind of knows all this already. I know all of this already. I know the language, I know the words, I've done it, I know when I turn my attention. So all of this, I say, okay, I'm throwing all of this away. Because I don't feel this language alive at the moment. I don't feel it alive. Sometimes somebody come and they say, I just don't know anything at all. And I say, whoa, this is alive. But in your case, it doesn't feel alive. Because you have said these words before, you've done something. So I want to take all of that, throw it out. I want to see something new that I've not seen before. Not the usual self, the usual identity or something like that. Maybe we are too comfortable with a certain self-image or something, even a spiritual self-image, but it's also only a self-image, it's not true. And if you continue like that, you're not going to be seen. You're always just going to be another spiritual statistic. It's another one. Osho? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Papaji? Yeah. We've been with Papaji. Yeah. We've been with the Buddha. You've been with the Buddha. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so what? You've been with Buddha, no? So you must carry Buddha's fragrance. The one with Buddha's fragrance is Buddha. When we see you, we think, you feel the Buddha. We're holding on to something that is of no value at all. We're holding on to something that is no value, but in your mind imagines it is of value. No, not show it out. Show that which you imagine is of value to find what is priceless. Your words have to mean something. Your presence has to carry something. Otherwise, how long we are going to continue in mediocrity? You have to see what I see. And the one that you present as you, I cannot see. I cannot see this one. I think I hear that there's a belief that this one is, but I don't see this one. The one I see is pure. We can't come anymore in the old uniform, no. It must be worn out. What you are is fresh. What we show is stale. What you are is fresh. What we present is stale. Sometimes to catch a fresh breath from you, life has to in the solar plexus, and then something comes alive. Not always has to be like this. But sometimes we're too comfortable in a false comfort also. Really asleep while you should be awake. Carrying the same story and feeling comfortable about it. But there's something inside which is timeless. And it is not hiding, but something seems to be in front of it, carrying its name, but is hiding. When I call, Buddha, where are you? It is coming. I'm here. I say, not you. It's not you. You're not even the keeper of Buddha. When I say Buddha, I can call it Christ, same thing. Krishna, the Lord. I can use any names because it itself also has no fixed name. So you have to go someplace beyond the name in you. Who were you before you were John? Then you say, I was I before I was John. Yeah, but who are you before you were I also? I don't want the answer verbally. You must be the answer. Don't give the answer. You are the answer. You must be the answer. When you recognize this, you must, how will you go to this place inside yourself? Where is it? You must leave everything, even for a few moments. You must leave everything to find the thing which is not a thing. And you cannot pretend. But still we honor the thing which can be lost. We honor the thing which is bound by time, but that which is timeless, no one cares for. How far, if you have turned within in your journey within, how far have you come? I don't even have to ask you, because your presence will speak for you. You'll become more open, more clear. When we look at you, we will not have the impression of time, because you have gone beyond time. We will not have the impression of trouble, because you have gone beyond trouble. We will not have the smell of duality, because you have gone beyond duality. Only the one who has gone beyond duality will live joyfully in duality. But if you're only a beggar in duality, even a king in duality is still asleep. What we are speaking about, sharing now, today, here, I don't think it will ever become, it will never have evangelical appeal. It is too subtle. It's too simple also. It is too simple. It doesn't require frills and fireworks. It doesn't require special effects. It is the most natural, you see. The most natural. And what is most natural in itself, it is effortless also. Can you detect that within your own self? That which is effortless. It is not trying to be, nor to become. Stillness is there, silence is there, peace is there, joy is there, beauty is there, wisdom is there. But it is not the possessor of these. Even the word there is not applying to it. It is not there, it is here. It's the only thing that is here. Everything else is only here for the time being. Who knows it? Thank you. Very good. Please come.
Just a few breaths first.
Take it down.
It's overwhelmed to be here. It's great. Beloved Mooji. I used to hear your satsangs. I used to be here before. And I hear on the internet too. And it's really, really great, because after satsangs, not a feeling, but it's like this presence in me, like I am presence, and it's changeable, because after I start doing things in day life, it's vanished, but
Mm.
I feel that presence in me. Oh, I am that presence, better saying.
Mm. Mm. In fact, actually, the presence is always there. When you say I, it is indicating presence. You can never not be that presence. During the waking state, the presence underlies all other changeful states. It is only out of habit that we are accustomed to somehow identify as personality, and that our interactions on a daily basis somehow is standing on the notion of personality. And so like a reflex, your attention goes back into the gear of personality. But the support of that is the presence itself. It is always there. You'll come to know at some point even that it won't be necessary anymore to even say, when I turn my attention to that. I'll say it again. It will come that you will not even need to say, when I turn my attention to there, as though attention gives you presence. You know? Because it is presence that even observes attention. You think that attention brings you to presence. This is also another strange concoction actually, because I am earlier than attention. Attention is perhaps your most powerful tool, because whatever you put your attention to begins to register as an experience for you. Attention is so intimate that you call it I also. When the mind goes someplace, you say, what are you doing? He says, I'm just looking. I as attention, you see. And yet, something is earlier than attention, because attention, or even the lack of attention, is observed in what we call pure awareness. So when you say I, it indicates consciousness, but through habit and conditioning, it has been put to represent person. And so the consciousness goes to adopt the position of person and relates to the world as other persons. You are going to come to see that both that sense of the person and the world of persons and personalities are themselves seen in the light of a consciousness which is not a person. It's not personal. Am I against person? Person is nothing to be against. It's simply an illusion in us, but also a very natural play of consciousness to pose itself as a person also. I only say it is not enough. It is not enough that we are in this life, in this magnificent universe, and you're here only to be working to pay your bills, to fix your relationships, to see how much money you can put aside in this mighty universe. It has to be more than that. Isn't it? It has to be more than that. But it's possible to go through the life with only that. Conquering things that you cannot keep. And everything that you gain, time says, that belongs to me. Everything that you work for, pursue, time-bound. And even the one also who is pursuing them also is time-bound. But there is a dimension within our own self, our own source, which is not bound by time. It binds time. You see.
That presence that I'm talking, I've experienced before, because after I do my meditation or a yoga class or something, I also feel that.
Yes. Yes.
And it's kind of a question right now. It's do you recognize the importance of these techniques similar to yoga?
For the time being. For the time being. We're still needing to, because of the strength of our identity as a person, then you need some practice to try and become presence. When you know yourself as presence, no practice is needed. You follow? For a while, when you consider yourself as a person, It's a strangeness actually, because then what you naturally are, you don't know. You see? So then the notion comes to the person, which is a fake form of consciousness, that it can do something to get the consciousness. And surely enough, when it turns away from the things which really takes it out and turns the attention towards the source, by meditation, by pranayam, by some kind of mantra japa, through prayer, through a sense of surrender, it experiences the freeing up from that limited idea of self. And then it says, oh, yes, now there's just this beautiful presence. I am nobody here. I have nobody here. And not being someone, it's like I'm everything. But when you're someone, you're a bit afraid to be everything. Oh, no. But when you're everything, you don't even say you're everything. In fact, you're more like you're nothing than you're everything. You see? And on top of this, little bonus for you, you can have your personality back, play, and so on, more like a mask. It's on the surface. You can enjoy somebody to go, hey, how you doing? Yeah, long time. Something still talks. But behind, there's something not talking. So you have the sense, I am talking, but I'm not talking. I'm walking, but not walking. I'm living, but not living. I'm tired, but not tired. Then you know the body is tired, but that which observes even the body is inexhaustible. And it seems I am both. But which is the greater? Be clear about the greater thing. And the lesser thing you can allow to see its changefulness. This is my changeful aspect. Something is always changing. Let it change. It is watched from the unchanging. Like this you know. So you ask, is it important to...
Yes, or it's important to maintain that activities.
Yes. For the time being, until you're successful with your practice. When your practice should take you to no practice. Isn't it? Practice must take you to no practice. If practice take you to more practice, then you need to start in a second here. Then more practice take you to super more practice. And after a while you're a practitioner. Practice must take you back to the natural, to the effortless. Then you go, aha, but this was always here. That's what practice does. Successful practice. At the end of successful practice, aha, but I've always been this. But I needed the practice to recognize that I've always been this. For the time being.
Now, I used to hear you saying about the can the observer be observed? And I kind of been thinking about that, and I want to. It's possible for you to explain better.
Nothing to explain. Find out. A simple question enough. That which is observing everything, thoughts, things, people, relationships, feelings, emotion, time, intellect, memory, everything you observe, everything. Nobody can observe for you. Nobody can eat for you.
So the first observer, it's not the real me.
Are you answering or are you asking?
Yes.
You can say the ego, which is a limited form of consciousness, has also the capacity to observe, isn't it? What is the difference? The difference is that the ego observes only with self-interest. You see? It's always observing, so yes, but I can see that. But always from the standpoint that, is this benefiting to me or not? So it's concerned only with itself mostly. When that itself is recognized, but wait a minute, but that's just also another kind of aspect. That's only another kind of conditioning. Then a deeper field of observing becomes self-evident, you see. then in that deeper field, the person and personality themselves show up as images in consciousness. Do you follow?
Yes.
Mm. What is observing these now? You see? What is the fact is already in front, because it is already self-evident that these things are observed. That's already the fact. By what are they observed? You see? Then you must not try to imagine or create. You have to be very quiet. And first you will acknowledge, but they are observed. But by what are they observed, you see? Then any kind of answer comes that is also observed. You see? Can that observer, the ultimate observer, is it material or immaterial? Meaning that you're always in the position of the observer. Right? So if you are material, it means that you have a quality. And if you have a quality, it means that something can perceive this quality. You see? Because a quality cannot perceive itself. Something says, yes, it's blue. And it weighs so much. And it's this wide. And the shape like that. Means quality. Mean it is discerned. Something sees, that's I can see this. That which sees even the most subtle thing, and of all things which are perceivable, it says space is the most subtle thing, isn't it? Space is the most subtle, and it also can be perceived. So therefore, the perceiver of space must also be subtler than space. What can be subtler than space? And your answers won't do. The fact goes already in front. Space is perceived. That's already the fact. We're not creating this. You're aware of space. Who are you who is aware of space even? Everything comes back to awareness, you see. Try not to be aware. Does awareness have a form? What is greater, the person or awareness? What comes first? These are things you have to somehow, or you can, not by scratching your head and jumping into books, but by being very quiet. Here is perfect environment, in fact. Everything is here assisting your recognition of this inside yourself. The greatest discovery you are going to make is going to be something inside, not outside. What is outside, you'll have the impression that you learn. I know it, I learn it, but you cannot keep. That which is true cannot be kept, can only be discovered. No one can keep the truth. You can only be the truth. Truth is not some holy cluster of concepts that you can say, oh yes, he has it over there. He's found it. Oh, can you show it to me? Hang on a second. Open your biggest vault. Your most powerful safety box. You cannot keep it in there. Nobody can keep the truth. Yourself is the truth, but not your person. When you purchased your person, you appear to have sold your truth. It's not possible, but it may feel like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Come.
something something happened when you spoke about valuing something, like valuing achievements and these things that one does. And I have no achievements. I have nothing that I cling to. But I realized that I valued the feeling of valuelessness. That's what I put before me and truth. And
this is beautiful, in fact, but don't go too far, because it's beautiful. You say, I don't have any values that I uphold tightly, but I only value valuelessness. But that's also value, because also you can say that there's two forms of desire. To say, I really, really want this, I really need this, is called desire. No? But to say, I really, really don't want that, I really don't want this, is also desire. So to say that I have no value of anything, I don't put any value to anything, I value valuelessness. Then I said, you're cool with this? Don't go too far. Don't turn it into another value, even.
what I meant was valuelessness, that I feel bad about myself. You know, I always feel bad about myself, and I valued this feeling bad about myself.
Oh,
That's what
I wasn't
meant.
thinking like that. You're going ahead of me on
That's
that one.
yeah, that's my trick.
Oh, so to be valueless whilst being a person, then it creates some kind of, this is what the whole of psychology is about.
Yeah, my story is about psychology.
You see?
But realizing this, that this is my story, that I always go
Yes.
back and work with
Yes.
this.
And when you say my story, who are you? What do you make yourself to be? We can come to that and we can look together at this. I'd be very much like you to just put some attention on that. Because we all use the terms I, me, my, mine, isn't it? In our daily language. They all come back to I anyway. I, me, my, mine. All to do with the use of I. I am this. That is me. This is mine. You see? This is my life. Yes, that is mine. That belongs to me. That is mine. I, me, my, mine. You can say like this. So, where there is the smell of a person in any of these terms, you see, and that is called ego, like that. I really love myself, I really hate myself, it's still ego. What is that that's there beyond even to love myself or hate myself? It simply is here. And what is the self that is hated or loved? Can you produce a sample of it? Because we say many things that we have inherited through tradition, but we have never considered it, what they are. Perhaps most of our language, we just second-hand. You never thought about it. We just learnt like we learnt language. If we have children brought up in Portugal, they will learn to speak Portuguese if they are with Portuguese people. Even without going to school to learn it, which you do also. But so in the same way we learn language and we learn things. We have learnt in our culture, let's say Western culture also. I've put it that I feel that we have very, very strong psychological identities. And it seems, I wonder if I can put it to you like that, that perhaps it's just a cultural characteristics that we keep thinking we have problems. That everybody has a problem. I have to have a few problems myself. Because a problem makes you credible. Means you're alive. Maybe it is just something that we learned also, you know. That, I'm like this and my life is like that and I don't like myself and whatever like this. Maybe it's just a cultural conditioning. Now, in my own country, I'm from Jamaica originally. Now, if you say, some people say, like in Europe and in England also, people say things like, how do I know it's not my mind? My mind is like this, my mind is like that. My mind is always saying this. I don't know if my mind or if it's not my mind. And it's almost fashionable to speak like that. But in my country, if someone speaks like that, they will say, oh, you got the devil in your head. And because that is the kind of response you're likely to get, people just don't talk about like that. You just don't pick up that attitude. So nobody says, oh, I think it is my mind. Something happens and no, actually, yeah. You're quite clear we don't have this duality and this complex about the mind, the mind, the mind. And so, in a sense, we have created a mind that's not there actually. We've created the concept of a mind that is so terrible, and my mind is like this. And somehow we all collectively create and sustain an identity of a power that's not really real except in our own creative space. Like that. Then you don't like yourself. And I say there's a place for this in spirituality also. Sometimes people come, I don't really like myself. Everything I say is untrue. Like almost everything I speak is a lie somehow, I don't know. At a certain point you begin to question. That is a healthy questioning. Sometimes people come and say, listen, all I ever talk is the rubbish. I only speak lies. If I really think about it, I just say these things. But it's not true. It's just what I've learned, and my friends speak like that, so I speak like that. But it's not true. And then, okay, have you ever spoken anything that's true? Let me think about it. No. No, you cannot go around telling people that because you're crazy. You've got very, very low self-esteem. But at some point in your search for truth, that can be a very healthy stage to come to see, wait a minute, everything that comes from my conditioning is sort of a distortion of something. Of course, you're not going to spend your whole of your life being like that. But you'll move on from that limited standpoint and see that, well, I don't put so much faith or trust in the mind in that way. It's a tool, but it's not so reliable. And something is aware of this. Then you've gone beyond this grip. When you say, no, I don't value myself, then I want to ask you, what is this self that you don't value? What is the self that you say, I don't value myself? When you say these words, what does it really mean? What is it that has no value? You use the word self, but what does it mean in your particular symbol of words? What does the self mean that you don't value?
My fear, my person that is
Yes.
Guided by fear.
Right. But there's an awareness of this person and this fear, isn't it? Yes. Can we go to the position of just the awareness itself, in whose light the person itself appears, with its fears and its attractions and its judgments or whatever? Let's go to the awareness in which the person appears. What are the characteristics of the awareness itself?
It's not judging.
It's not judging, you see.
But the person is judging,
Yes.
and judging the judging and judging. And
But this is weakness now. We're coming to some place. That person that you call yourself, that you've been living with and signs the books and everything, that's that sort of person, in fact. So you say, that is also weakness, that is also watched. This is a simple thing I'm talking, nothing mystical and metaphysical. The sense of the person you're talking about is also observed or not. It is, isn't it? Yes. For me, it is infinitely more important to be in the position of the awareness itself than the objects arising in awareness which come and go in and out of focus.
yeah, for you. But I can't let go of identifying with this.
You can begin by recognizing that it is not consistent, it is just an arising, it's not really significant. It's only belief and attention that energizes it and make it seem like it's something much more than it is believed to be. You start there. Because if you knew many things in their true light, they were not what you think they were, then you just drop them. Because the nature of any illusion is that when you have seen clearly what it is, it loses its power. As we begin to see more clearly some things from the right position of seeing, they cannot stay with that potency anymore. Because you see, but it's not me. Then if you know it's not you, you don't give that much importance to it or that much attention to it. And right there it begins to change in front of your eyes. Its power is gone. Its virility is gone.
I just experience it.
Yes, you see? And like that, something turns away from it. Maybe not on the first go. It turns a bit and goes back and turns again. Turns again. And then gradually after a while, it's like weeds. You keep cutting them, they come up. You keep cutting. Come, cut them. Cut them again. Cut them again. Finish. Like this. It's not years we're talking. It's not months we're talking. It's not even weeks. Sometimes with a steadfast mind and attention, it's a short time and these pests are gone. Because a thing is not alive in itself. No thought is self-employed. None of these things live by themselves. They live on phantom power, we call phantom power, meaning that they take their power from you. Your interest, identifying, the meaning you give it, that's why it becomes important. It has no other way of living. None of these thoughts can live. If a thought had independent power, that means that it would have the same power for every person. But what might be terrible and dangerous for you is fun for someone else. So it cannot be the thing. It must be the one who is perceiving it and who you believe yourself to be that creates that relationship of that type. Do you follow this or not? If you begin to see these things, already a great unburdening will begin in you. That you see, but a lot of stuff is nothing at all. They're nothing at all. It's just my mind made them up like this. But still, unexpectedly, they jump out of the dark. Oh, okay, you got me this time. You got me this time. Okay, try it again. Then somehow you will see like this about these things.
May I ask something else? I have a problem with work.
Work.
I've always had this problem that I'm not happy, and still I'm so full of fear or to let go, and then I think, oh, maybe I've just I go the other way and try to love my work, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, does it?
No. And should I leave?
Yes.
You say yes?
Well, I would. You're asking me, no? I mean, like, if I'm not doing something I don't like it, I don't like it, go to work. Why are you doing it then? For money?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the illusion of security, so that I can pay my glasses, which are so expensive. And
that's a deal. That's a deal you strike. You strike a deal. You say, okay, I don't really like it so much, but it gives me my glasses, and it gives me enough money to go on. So, it's not bad. So I kind of don't hate it. I respect it. I don't like this job, but I have to respect the fact that it gives me a certain amount of freedom to.
That's the way I would like it. Yes. That's the way I want it to be.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work.
Okay, what doesn't work?
When I'm there, I feel okay, but afterwards, I only work 5 hours a day. But afterwards, I feel dead, like dead.
Yeah.
And there's no, and I get depressed after.
You are married, have children, and things like this.
No.
No, you're so lucky. You can afford to be broke and be thrown out into the bush for a while. So you have nobody to disappoint. Some people like that, they don't have not even a pet. They don't even have an house plant to look after. You're totally free, like a dad. You can gamble, no? I know people who have children and family and they take that risk. They say, no, I go for truth. And they found that when they found the truth, their family is still there. Everything is still there. It's fine.
Can I
Maybe
come? Can I
life-
come and stay for a while?
Not like that.
Okay.
What stands in the way of your discovery? Identify.
Right now, I can't find anything.
Don't put any labels on yourself. Don't put any labels on yourself. Don't define. Don't try to define yourself. I am like this. I'm so old. I am did this. I've got this. Forget about all of that for a minute, because there's something here which defies every label. No label can stick from any religion. Nothing can stick to it at all. Go there. Be there. Something has no label. Never has had a label in any life expression. It is labelless. Then you may say, yes, I'm aware of it, but I can't stay there all the time. Who the hell are you? A label. Another label. You are. Nobody can stay there. Nobody can stay there. Nobody has the Buddha could not do it. It's not a place to stay. It's not a stopover. It simply is. What is in the way of that? A belief that I am this and I'm getting there and so on, so on, so. It's not simple like that, and yet it's simple like that. It's not simple like that, but it's simple like that. Something gets unplugged. Something gets unplugged. Okay? But still you are. The belief I am the doer of things, I'm the getter of things, I'm on the way to it, all this somehow ceases. This is the dreaming mind speaks like that. Now you're aware of the dreaming mind, of the thinking mind, of the personal mind. You're aware of these notions and this feeling. But no more are you confused with it, nor do you combine yourself with it. When you say I, it is completely stripped now of all of these idiosyncrasies and all of these qualities. When you say I, it is like space. But it's not stagnant, it's not somehow, it's not a void, it's not dull, has no qualities like this. And yet all qualities arise and appears in front of it. Who will catch this clue? Many of you may be coming satsang for the first time. But this subject, you're not a beginner. Because you're equally the timeless as the Buddha is. What is different? As yet you're not aware of it. How do I become aware of it? Let's start at that place. Everything you can perceive, time, space, energies, people, objects, imagination, you know the difference between imagination and actuality, fantasy, actualities, your abilities psychically, your imagination, intellect, memory, desire, time, all of these things are meaningless without you because you are the witness of them, isn't it? All qualities that are presently known or potentially knowable must appear in your presence. Who are you? What are your defining, distinguishing marks? Even your own personality, the sense of your background, your autobiography, also you are not. Earlier than all of these, there is that. It is not behind or in front. It's not to the left or the right. It cannot be found with a compass. Where is its location? Where is its location? Who are you? You see. When you say I, a lot of stuff comes up in your I certificate. Because I becomes an identity. And if there's an identity, it implies an I entity. Who is this entity? Where can it be found? Is it the body? The body says nothing at all. Body doesn't know you. Your body doesn't know you. If some strange gas floated in here and everybody forgot who they were, and we all got mixed up, we don't know whose body is whose anymore. Your body's not going to go, hey, we belong together, you and me. It's not going to say nothing. It doesn't know you. Who are you who say, I am this body? Is it the pure being that says this thing? Everything is in front of you. All that you call your life is what you have accepted, what you have believed, what you have projected, imagined, desired, presented. Without you, it has no meaning. Most of what you thought, most of everything that you've thought about, the world will never know about it. Your parents will never know. Your partner will never know. Because it is a unique world that is created in this lighthouse. Most of what you've thought about, what you imagine, no one will know. No one in the world will know. In the same way that you go to bed each night, you maybe have a dream, but even the one you love most dearly, you cannot share the same dream together. It is a unique world. In the same way, in the waking state, your world is unique, flavored in such a unique way. How are we going to live in the same world together? On the same earth, yes. In the same world, no. It's one earth, billions of worlds. Where is our true meeting place? Not in the mind. Your mind does not know you. It doesn't know anything. There is no such thing as mind knowing anything. It is you who know the mind. One must know the difference between oneself and one's mind. The correct relationship. There can be you without mind, but there cannot be mind without you. You are the witness of mind, of thought, feeling, emotion, desire, projections, judgments, all of this. That's your playground. But who are you? Where precisely are you? What is your shape? What makes you you? Conditioning? Conditioning also is an ever-changing self-portrait playing. What witnesses all these self-portraits? Does it have a portrait? What I'm sharing with you is not to confuse you, but to at least allow you to be open enough to allow yourself to begin to deconstruct from a very rigid mindset. Maybe you have to come to a place to be confused for a little bit, but this confusion will help you to find your larger self. Stop living in a box, the box of your own conditioning. The self is not trapped inside any bubble, and certainly not in the bubble of conditioning. You are the witness of conditioning and its effects. Who are you? Experience this, you see. Are you beginning to feel some space within yourself? And even if your mind is making some noise, this noise also you perceive. It's only phenomenal. It is passing. It will pass. There's something in you that cannot pass. It cannot pass by. It cannot go somewhere else. Because there's nowhere else for it to go. It is everywhere. If you have a strong sense of identity, my words will have little appeal for you. Because you are so much afraid that some change may be too big for you. But for the one who embraces freedom, change is a small thing. You will exchange change for the changeless. But not in one bang. You are the infinite, portraying itself as time and change. This is why you can witness this change. You can witness time. All these things are in front of you, but none of them conquer you, unless you make yourself time also.
See me? Can you see me?
Yes, but not as you see you. You are the pure self. All are the pure self. That's the only thing worth seeing. The rest is only passing. Nothing to save. It's okay, we can enjoy the transient, the passing. Why not? It's a healthy way. If you're not obsessed with trying to make what is changeful by nature changeless. Rather discover the changeless and enjoy the changeful. Rather than waste your time trying to make what is changeful unchanging.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very great. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Wonderful. Thank you. That's very good. Let me see what we have here a little bit today. Dear beloved Mooji, thanks to your pointings, I am more and more able to detach from my daily physical pain, which I'm experiencing since 3 years now. But the most intense pains, headaches and extreme loss of energy of the body, keep me identifying with this pain body and keeps me in the state of a person who is sick and tired of suffering the pain. Maybe I will never be pain-free anymore, but I know in my heart that it is possible to be completely free, even with the most intense physical pain, without suffering from it. I sincerely ask you to help me and guide me further and shine your light on the topic of chronic physical pain. With all my love and endless gratitude, Tinike. Huh? Tinike. T-I... Huh? Tinike. Sometimes intense experiences help you to realize the self. Whether it be physical pain or psychological pain, emotional pain sometimes. Sometimes you're driven to a point where it's become unbearable. Something becomes unbearable. You run out of moves. And there's nowhere to escape to. Sometimes you may be brought to a point where you're rendered completely helpless. Has anybody experienced these things? And in that moment, which seems to be your weakest, you may discover your greatest strength. Sometimes we feel if life would only be more kind, more soft, more comfortable. But then you go to sleep. And this sleep can be many lifetimes we can sleep. Leave it to the master chef who cooks to the taste of each one. Whatever your needs are for this life, it will bring to you. Make use of it. All our little difficulties or big difficulties, turn them to your advantage. Use them for freedom. Sometimes when a thing is too much, your mind just cannot cope. It cannot breathe, it cannot live, it cannot dance. And I'm talking about the dance which is like, the mind's dance is the tarantula. He gobbles you up. Sometimes some things are too big for him. And you may falsely think it's too big for you. And in that moment you may experience what may be felt as a crisis. But a crisis also sometimes is a door to lead back to your own self. In our culture, we are not educated or trained to think in this way. We are very one-dimensional in our way, in our cultural conditioning. Many people who found their way back home to the truth, if they could recall to you, you will see that they go through sometimes great pain, great sense of delusion and intense emotional pains and so on. It took that much to push them over the edge and back into themselves. So better than seeking comfort, seek freedom. Then you will find that which is beyond comfort even. Pure joy. Pure joy and freedom. In this life we cannot guarantee, because even for a sage we'll have some trouble. The most intense pains, headaches and extreme loss of energy in the body keeps me identifying with the pain also. Keep me in the state of a person who is sick and tired of suffering the pain. But one time you become sick and tired of suffering the person who is suffering also. The identity like that. Because first it will captivate, to conquer all your attention. Like a reflex, all the energy will go there to the crime scene. You see? But in some cases, something is just pushed into freedom, pushed into a state of complete silence, to go beyond the boundary you imagine to be your edge. Now, maybe I will never be pain-free anymore, maybe. But I know in my heart that it is possible to be completely free, even with the most intense physical pain, without suffering from it. Pain is actual. Pain is actually something. But suffering is not something. Suffering is more about the attitude you have to your pain. So it is optional. It is something that as you change inwardly, the state of suffering may leave you. And just let things happen when they happen. When something is painful, you don't try and not say ouch. Don't try to be brave. Oh, no, because you're ouching inside. So ouch outside too. Why not? You see? And thanks to your pointings, I am more and more able to detach from my daily physical pain, which I'm experiencing since 3 years now. But for now, this pain is causing you to identify with the body and keep me in a state of a person who is sick and tired of suffering the pain somehow. Nevertheless, she says, maybe I will never be pain-free anymore. But I know in my heart that it is possible to be completely free. You see? Even with the most intense physical pain, without suffering from it. Perhaps this is what you needed to learn in her case. This is the route that consciousness has taken in order to find a perfect reflection of its own self. And it's amazing that these things will pass also. It can drop away just like that also. Dear Mooji, I am a housewife. I have a fear which is in me for almost 30 years. All my actions were out of fear all these years. When I have come to an understanding of life, it is so difficult to come out of this. Mooji, I want to come out of this feeling of fear and enjoy the freedom of just being. No one understands what I mean. I have read many books and joined many spiritual classes, but it never helped me. Seeing your videos, I feel connected to them. I need help, Mooji. When are you coming to India? I want to meet you and feel the liberation. I want to feel release. I want to feel release myself from this negative bond. You see? Thank you, Mooji. Hope you would help me meet you. With regards and wishes, Meena. If you are looking now, we are meeting now also. We are meeting now also. You see, don't have to wait until India. We are meeting now. Don't let the mind cheat you out of this. This is one of the great things about internet. I was also, in my attitude, a bit of a caveman. So internet, all those things. But I came to value what it means, what it's done. And it's been a tremendous friend in some way, facilitator. Because now I'm not such a great traveler. But it means I can be speaking now, you are in India. Some person is in Japan, we're all together in real time, this moment, here today, like that. Then if your mind keeps this thing, yes, but I want to wait until you come to India. But maybe I never come to India again. Who can say? You see? But I'm here now. And maybe you watching right where you are, wherever you are, will get it before some people in here, most people in here. You see? Because we are in real time here. And the truth knows no distance at all. It knows no distance at all. It has chosen this instrument as an avenue through which it will touch your heart, speak with you. You see? And you will find this peace you're searching for. How are we doing here? Hi, I really need help. I have had anxiety for 4 years now, and early on I had panic attacks. I never take medication, and I try to solve this problem with my mind. I don't have panic attacks anymore, but I feel constant pressure, tingling pain in my head. Sometimes I think that I'm going to die, but I know that is the symptom of anxiety. Last night I go in my backyard and I lay down in the grass and I waited for my death. I was peaceful, but of course I didn't die. My question is, why I feel 24 hours pressure, tingling pain, and why I have fear of death when I am 100% sure that it is all in my mind, and I know that nothing will ever happen to me. Please help me to understand how this works and guide me. I just want to feel good. Thank you, all my love. Angelina. Why I feel 24-hour pressure? You don't feel 24-hour pressure unless you don't sleep. In sleep you feel nothing at all. Nothing is there. In the deep sleep nothing is there. In deep, not dreaming now. In deep sleep nothing is there. Even God you don't know. Everything you leave, everything has left you, and you have left everything. And that is perhaps the purest part of your 24 hours, is when you're empty of association. Then one who is free is empty of association even in the waking state, you see. even in the waking state. It doesn't mean that they are some recluse and they're afraid of people. No, in some way, paradoxically, they can flow also with people and be filled with love or compassion, but maybe not. They don't have to necessarily be compassionate and soft and cute. They can also be slap, slap, bang, bang, bang. Also like that. But still, their odor, their perfume will be something very, very fresh. When someone like that is angry at you, you feel it intensely, but this anger will change your life in a beautiful way, even. Because there's nothing personal about it. If a person is angry with you, you see, you might be like this. But if the universe is angry with you for a moment, then it's something good. Something is going to change in you. You see? Because it cannot be angry with you. So if God picks on you, it's your good fortune. Hafiz says, if you have been drop kicked by God, you know what a drop kick is? Very good. Last night I go in my backyard and I lay down on the grass and I waited for my death. I was peaceful, but of course I did not die. This is what also happened to Ramana Maharshi. There's a photograph of him somewhere there. When he was young boy, 16, 17 years old, he was visiting his uncle's place in Madurai, I think. So he was alone in this house, and suddenly he had like panic attack. You mentioned panic attacks here also. He had panic attack, and in his panic attack he felt, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Often people with panic attacks think, I'm going to die. It's another entrance point also of freedom, can come in these kind of ways. Panic attack, something is just, whoa, it's like you're going to, you don't know what's, you're going to have a heart attack or something, you feel. And so he felt, I'm going to die. And there was nobody to call for help. But growing up in India, where you always see everybody in India see a dead body at some point, because it's not something that they hide, everything is open. So he laid down on the ground in the room of his uncle and got into the position of a corpse, and he waited for death to happen. But it didn't come. Instead, a very powerful, very, very powerful recognition took place. He felt a power inside himself that he knew, I cannot die. Maybe the body will die, but something is here, cannot die. Cannot die. Again, I told you, sometimes intense experiences can push you into a profound understanding that may otherwise have taken you many, many years to come into such an understanding that has such an impact. So from that moment, fear left him. All fear left him, because he saw something here, the truth, it cannot die, but the body can die. Then he said, okay, let the body go then. Why not with you? My question is why I feel 24 hours pressure. You don't feel 24-hour pressure. If your name is John, you cannot be John for 24 hours a day. 7, 8 hours you will not be John or Jane or anything else. You will have no name, you'll have no relatives, you'll have no religion, you'll have no gender, you have no job, you have no life. And every one of us knows this. Everyone has this experience every day. You go into deep sleep. When you go to bed, you really should not be wishing each other happy dreams. You don't need dreams. The waking state is enough dreams. Say, dead sleep. Okay? Dead sleep, meaning forget everything. Forget everything. This is why I say that we spend money to buy good beds so that you forget everything. Everything. You don't want anything. There you don't even need God. You don't need yourself. You don't need I. No I, no you, no that, no this. Every day. And I don't see people going to bed screaming, not again. No, no. You want to go. You need a break from all this experiencing. You have to have a break. You're there, isn't it? Now, waking state come, and then time comes, identity come, others come, conflict come, desire come, all these things come. The show starts again, like that. For some, this show starting means nothing at all. Waking up happens, the sense of other happens, but it is very, very shallow thing, nothing very deep for them. So it is as though they are still asleep during the waking state, and yet functioning quite happily. The senses are up doing their work, the mind's up doing its work, but there's no sense of any trouble, nobody living the life. There's nobody living life. You are life. Why I have fear of death when I am 100% sure that it's all in my mind and I know that nothing will ever happen to me. So this person is some hangover from some other existence. Sometimes I meet some people, young girl, I meet her, but she's like there's a whole lady living in her. Young person, 18 years old, like an old lady. Something is there. What is this person? See, almost like something is on you that's not you. Some kind of stupidness, something, where it come from. You see. But as you turn again within, because something is feeding this ghost. The I person is also a ghost. The I person is also a ghost. And as I said before, if you're going to be a ghost, at least be the Holy Ghost. Don't be some duppy or something. Isn't it? I'm sure it's nothing will ever happen. Please help me to understand how this works. You don't need to know how it works. You just need to know I am not that. And your attention turns away from that. Just like you don't get involved in your neighbor's business. Then see your mind as your neighbor. Don't get involved in his business. But you want to know how he works and stuff. So okay, that's how you keep the relationship going. You believe all the troubles that come from the mind are your troubles. Because you believe you are the person that you've been conditioned to believe you are. So while that notion is alive in us, then you must live and breathe and take instructions and learn on the notion of being a person until you grow out of it, until we grow out of it. This is from Jalina. Please come. Thank you.
Thank you for being in your presence.
Okay.
There's no question. There's a recognition. I have any want. No want, no wish, nothing.
Yes.
So almost my brain feels like Alzheimer. There's nothing in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel happy.
Yes. The world doesn't understand this type of happiness. She didn't come to tell me I got a new car and just moving into a new house. Just started a fresh relationship, nothing like that. I have no questions. I have no desires, somehow. My mind is empty of intention. It's not swimming around in the past. It's not swimming towards some future. I just am like this. I'm content, happy. The world does not teach you, listen, be like that. No, 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 no. What are you doing with your life? What you doing with your life? They're rather sometimes, even the people that love you, they'd rather you be doing something and not be happy doing it than to be doing nothing and be happy. You understand? Nothingness is a taboo in the world. Emptiness is taboo, and it's screwing up everybody. Because you have to be something. You have to become something. Then they may stick a badge on you, give you a piece of paper with a little ribbon on it, and you feel happy. Oh, I've got my favorite ribbon. Very nice. Look. You see? Spend the rest of your life showing people photo albums of yourself when you're sitting right there. Not in real tune and time with the universal being. Now someone is content. I don't have any aspiration. No. So in the world they'll say you're pretty much useless. You are useless. You have nothing to contribute to us. Happiness we don't want. To see a happy person we don't want. No, no. Hardworking we want. Happy person we don't need. You have no use to us being happy. We rather you're miserable and a hard worker. But to be peaceful and happy, you're useless for us. Content. Have you paid your taxes? Why should you be content? Nobody wants you to be content. Open. Open for what? Business? No, not business. Open to nothingness. What? Which psychiatric unit are you? So nobody's going to tell you for this. And if you listen to the world, look for them for approval, you will not know any happiness. Sometimes you have to go even sometimes against your own family because they are not awake to the virtues of life. We put in front of us, we venerate objects, certificates, and conditioning to be accepted by a world of conditioning. And they don't have a value of your own happiness. That's not everybody like that, but many is like this. To be content, you see. And they have to spend a little time with you to begin to have the eyes open a little bit to the vastness of your kingdom. They will not know you over the counter. Hello, how are you? Happy? Oh yes, very good. Happy for you. Okay, bye-bye. Okay? They will not appreciate, they cannot know your freedom. Only as you come into your own Buddha nature, it will penetrate all defenses, depending upon your destiny. Someone will not have any intention. They even prepare to not like you. And then they come into the orbit of your presence, poof, finish. You see? But on the way to your own self-discovering, most people are still in the momentum of judgment and of anxiety, insecurity, and self-defensiveness, so they will not see you. If a thief walks past or meets a holy person, he will only notice his pockets. What you value, that you will see. You see? And it will take time and openness for someone to see someone whose heart is beating in the truth. So don't look for praise and acceptance from the world. Don't seek it, period. Even from the Sangha, don't seek it. Be it. Be comfortable with your own comfort, your own peace. Don't be complacent. Don't be demonstrative. Just be yourself, you see. Who is the one who says, I have no more questions again? We started like that. I have no more questions. The one who has come to rest, whose life is rest, resting in peace. Where do you go to find living beings in that state, resting in peace? You have to go to the cemetery. In the cemetery you see rest in peace. And it's not even true, even. Even sometimes the dead are not resting in peace. They're still running about as ghosts around the place. Where will you find that one who is resting in peace? You see? The one who has found their true nature, resting in peace. All questions are consumed, burnt up. Where do you stand? Where do you place your identity? Silence cannot be understood. Truth cannot be understood. It can only be experienced. We vastly overrate our mental abilities. Like the truth should appeal to your mind. Then we don't realize how much deeper you are than merely your conditioned mind. Natural mind and the pure self is the same thing. Don't be afraid of emptiness. Get used to it. There's a fear inside many people that if they become empty, it means you become stupid. I want to remove this taboo, this fear from you. If you become empty, you become stupid, you won't know anything. And it's true. A sage doesn't know anything, actually. Not like the way that we think. We think that to know something in the traditional sense is to have a knowledge, and this knowledge provides a kind of safety net for you. So you don't know the one who knows nothing, and yet is everything. The knowledge you have saved up cannot compare with the knowledge that sprouts spontaneously out of your being. And it is always appropriate, always on target, because it is not personal, you see. Very good. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very great. Very great. Wonderful. Before we go today, maybe we just sit for a moment and for a moment we don't try to hold on to or follow anything mentally. No, it's already in. The serum is already in. Don't try to get it. For a moment, simply be. Now, you may notice, some of you, that there's some noise maybe is floating up into the mind, into the head. This is quite okay. There's no need to try and control anything at all. I'm going to show you a more excellent way. Simply ignore it for a moment. Let it be. You are the awareness itself, in whose presence the mind moves like waves on the surface of the ocean. The ocean does not panic because waves are present. It is not less ocean-like. Same with you. Your being is the same whether there are thoughts or no thoughts. Don't fight to control your mind. Simply be aware there's no mind without you. You are the witness of it. Don't hold on to any self-image. It is not necessary. It gives nothing to your experiencing to identify yourself in one way or another. Simply let the play of perception happen. Without holding on to any self-image, naturally there's just a sense of space inside you. You're not imagining this, simply recognizing this space is natural for you. It is your health. It is the fragrance of your own being. Nobody created it. You can see many things, thoughts, objects, sensations. You're aware of many concepts, many ideas. In all the directions you can look, you may find something. But that which is perceiving all things is not especially in any direction. It is directionless. Your being is like space, unbound. It doesn't matter what your mind thinks. Don't try to control him. There's a place the mind cannot go. You are already there. Be clear about this. There's nothing that needs to change, nothing you need to fix, nothing to become or unbecome. Because what you are always is. It is not an accomplishment. It is not about being special or not special, educated or not educated. These are far, far, far away from the truth you are. Your pure timelessness, ever perfect, beyond even the concept of perfection. You do not grow, neither old nor young. You've never done anything in the truth. But in this life, consciousness has painted a picture called you. And in this form, you, the formless, will appear as form. In this form you will come to know again your formless self. It is not easy. It is rare. Still, it is completely natural for you. Everything in life is a come, stay, go. Come, stay, go. You witness this movement. You are beyond all movements. Know this deep within your own being. and be free from sorrow. Unlike time, you are not passing. You are the witness of all that passes. You're not merely to believe this only, but here in Satsang you'll come to know this beyond mind's knowledge. You'll simply recognize. Knowing yourself as the true being, you'll come to see that you have no enemies in the earth. Your challenge is simply to transcend the influence of your conditioning, the hypnosis of conditioning, which for a while keeps us in a state of sleep. Perhaps now is your time to raise from sleep into real life. Pay attention now to that space which is empty of identity, yet vibrant. It is not an object. The perceiver of this space and the space itself are one. Recognize that which simply is. It is not a state of waiting. You are not in a state of waiting or expecting. It is already complete. It needs no help. Do not be fooled by your mind. You are not merely your conditioning. Therefore you witness the play and the sense of conditioning. Open your heart to the truth of your own self. Say yes, yes, merge me in you. Like this, all that seems to be fragmented, divided, will be brought back again into its natural harmony. Yourself, your being, is a harmony. But in the ultimate, you are beyond even this concept of harmony. No words are there. No teaching is there. There's neither master nor disciple there. There's no religion there. There's no other there. Only what is. Perhaps in this life you'll come to discover yourself as that which is. It is the most beautiful discovery. So may it continue. Okay. Om. Thank you. Very good. Is anybody going to play out today? Okay, somebody come. You can move your legs a little bit. We will soon take a break and just. Ju- uh,
One wish, one prayer, one reason I am here. One focus, one desire, the only purpose of my life. It is for you, 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 it is for you. So the prayer is to see you, to feel you everywhere. Only hear you, only sense you, to always be in your embrace. My heart belongs to you, my heart is only yours. It's all for you, 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 it's all for you. You are